I saw the Patagonman documentary, one of the original ones, probably many years ago, and I've watched it every year since then. And it's just, the scenery is so inspiring. It's absolutely beautiful.
De repente, pues me salta por las redes sociales, me salta Patagonman. ¿Esto qué es? Esta carrera en el fin del mundo, yo viendo las imágenes alucinando y dije, algún día tendré que hacerla, pero ni me apunté ni en ese año, pasaron 2 años incluso y nada de nada.
What am I doing here? I think I describe it this way. When you hear something once or twice, you kind of brush it off. But when you start hearing things, third and fourth time, you start to pay attention. And I had heard of Patagonman, and it just it really spoke to me. I was looking for adventure.
Patagonman est arrivé, quelqu'un m'a parlé de triathlon extrême. Je me suis dit, ben tiens, il y a quoi comme triathlon extrême? J'ai vu la Ligue des X-Trees, et je me suis dit, bon, je m'inscris à Patagonman en pensant que je suis tellement loin que jamais je vais arriver jusqu'à Patagonie. Comme si c'est même pas la peine d'y penser, mais je m'inscris et on verra. Donc oui, quand mon téléphone a fait bip un vendredi soir, j'étais en train de cuisiner un plat à la maison et j'entends le téléphone qui sonne et je vois tu es sélectionné pour Patagonman. Je dis, je suis sélectionné pour Patagonman. La famille, mon fils et ma femme, surtout mon fils, le premier, ouais papa, on part papa. Et j'ai dit, ok, ouais, on part.
He visto tantos vídeos y he leído tantas cosas que al final todos los que han participado en él dicen lo mismo y es verdad, es totalmente diferente a cualquier otra prueba. Entonces yo creo que esa imagen entrando en el barco tiene que ser brutal.
And when I started the triathlon 2 years ago, I was always looking for something extreme. And by looking, I found out about Patagonman, something like very extreme triathlon at the end of the world. You jump at night, cold water, a lot of mental stuff, that you go look inside you.
Well, for the last 23, 24 years, I've been racing triathlons professionally. I came from that running background, but I felt like there was more that I had to offer, and I really wanted to still continue to pursue endurance sports, and triathlon just kind of spoke to me. I think I was watching TV and I saw Ned Overend win the Xterra World Championship.
Le triathlon est arrivé très tard dans ma vie. Un jour, je me suis inscrit à un triathlon courte distance et c'était en 2020. Je me rappellerai toujours parce que c'était incroyable. Je suis sorti de ce triathlon transformé Je me suis dit, waouh, je ne savais pas que ce sport pouvait procurer d'aussi bonnes sensations.
Siempre mi vida puedo decir que ha estado ligada al deporte. Desde chico, como siempre, como niño además, siempre hemos querido hacer o policía, lo típico, bombero. En el 2000, a través de un amigo, me dijo de apuntarnos a otra carrera, el Ironman. Todo fue por una película de Dani Rovira y bueno, vimos la película, yo me emocioné y le digo, yo quiero hacer el Ironman de Lanzarote. Y bueno, desde ahí empezamos los dos a preparárnosla, él me dejó tirado y a partir de ahí pues me metí en el triatlón de lleno.
Triathlon was actually the first sport that I started with professionally. Unfortunately, with my studying, my degree, I did veterinary science, so it was quite an intense degree. I just didn't have time to train 3 disciplines at that point, so I fell back to just running, but I always kept up a little bit of swimming and cycling just for general fitness and in case of injury on the side. And then when I finished my degree, I finally had a bit more time, and so triathlon started to become a bigger part of my life again. I've always loved it, so the passion has always been there.
You see the iconic photos of jumping off the ferry at 5 in the morning into the cold water, and it was just like I had imagined it and perfected. It was, you know, imagined in my head that it was going to be cold and miserable, and it was. I was on the ferry and I was shaking, and I was like, oh no, this is going to be a long day.
It was tough, for sure. It was very tough. It was a long wait in the morning, waiting to board the ferry, on the ferry, waiting to jump. I think those were the most nerve-wracking moments of the whole day. And it was cold in the morning. It was drizzling, windy.
Lo más complicado yo creo que como todo el mundo puede ser el agua, esa sensación, sobre todo el frío, esa sensación de estar allí en medio de la nada, la imagen de meterte en el ferry de noche.
The reason that I continue to do what I do, I think, is because I did not have a lot of instant success. I had a lot of failure.
Today I met John Medina, who was the first one to participate in the first edition, first participant. I told him, if you can give me one advice in your 3 finish Patagonia, he told me, take your time, enjoy the view, enjoy the race, take it easy.
Salté al agua, no tenía frío, yo creo que de la misma adrenalina, y después conforme iba nadando, un frío terrible, me había entrado agua por todos lados, estaba temblando, la verdad, sacaba la cabeza a nadar y pegaba un grito, iba llorando, se me empañaban las gafas, desorientado, en fin, estaba deseando de salir del agua.
But as soon as I jumped into the water and the race began, I was in my element. I loved the swim, actually. It wasn't as cold as I expected. The water was a little bit choppy, a little bit rough, like some waves, but not too bad.
I always say that you don't do the race on paper. So I think this is definitely one of those times where there's going to be a lot of adversity on race day. What are the sensations going to be when I get out of that water? How cold am I going to be? Are my hands going to work? Are my feet going to work? And a lot of those things that you don't necessarily think about for a traditional road triathlon.
Et puis la bicyclette qui n'est pas mon fort, j'avais très peur. Et puis les montées, les montées ont commencé à arriver. Et là j'ai dû me battre. Là j'ai dû me battre. Battre contre là où est ma faiblesse, se battre contre le vent.
La bici, qué experiencia.
Struggled a little bit with my bike setup. I didn't get tri-bars before the race, which we tried very hard, but I couldn't find any to fit the bike, so I still have to gain some experience in that, and it was a bit of a problem, but I try not to let it, disrupt my race, because once you're in the moment, you just need to focus, and that's what I try to do. You manage the things that are within your control while you're racing, and everything else can wait till later. On the bike, I knew I was in third place and I was losing time to Caroline and the Italian lady. They were very strong cyclists, and that's not my strong point. Remember that the race is not over until it's finished. It is always motivating when you do catch people. I think it's better than racing from the front.
The end of the bike was very challenging with some headwinds. And then just always knowing what was coming, knowing that we had such a long run. When you feel a little bit of fatigue on the bike, you worry that it's gonna end up with a lot of fatigue. And the run had a few low points as well.
Yo sabía que no hay tiempo a buscar, solo hay que terminar. Y encontré una persona de Colombia que se llama Camilo, y yo hice como 3 kilómetros con él y nos fuimos a motivarnos. Él estaba caminando, yo estaba caminando, y de repente cuando nos encontramos empezamos a correr.
For many years, I was really focused on the Xterra circuit, and it took me 15 years to finally win that Xterra World Championship. Why didn't I give up so much sooner? Why am I still pursuing this sport? And I realized that I really have a love for the sport, or for sports in general. I would say physically, I felt like I did really good with my nutrition, but I ran pretty hard on the uphills and downhills, and the downhills really destroyed my legs. All those eccentric contractions coming downhill, my quads, hamstrings, calves, they were pretty shot. So I was feeling pretty tired. I couldn't get my heart rate to rise, and I could only go at a certain pace.
Vamos, Patagonman!
Pour pas mentir, j'étais un gros fêtard, j'adorais la fête. Et ben, à force de pas prendre soin de sa santé, on perd le fil de sa vie, on s'éloigne de ce qu'on peut faire, de ce qu'on peut réaliser. Et 6 mois après l'avoir eu, j'ai fait une crise cardiaque. Je ne réalisais pas ce qui m'arrivait sur le moment, je ne voulais pas l'accepter sur le moment même. Les enfants, à 6 mois, quand je suis rentré, après avoir fait mon opération, il avait 6 mois et il sentait qu'il y avait quelque chose qui n'allait pas. Je me rappelle toujours, quand je rentre dans la chambre, on était en voyage, et il était comme recroquevillé, terrorisé. Je me rappellerai toujours de cette image de lui. Ça m'a montré, ça m'a fait comprendre que je dois être là pour lui, je dois le guider, je dois être son papa. Moi, j'ai pas eu la chance d'avoir un papa parce qu'il est décédé quand j'avais 8 ans.
There's always going to be problems that you didn't expect or you didn't prepare for, and you just need to, be able to say, okay, plan A is not working, I have plan B or plan C, and you need to shift your mindset and deal with the problem. And sometimes even for, professional or elite athletes, they may not be having a good day, you're not going to win the race anymore. You need to make a decision. Are you going to drop out? Or are you going to change your focus to just finishing?
Cuando me apunté a la carrera, se lo dije a mi padre, que era la persona que yo quería que viniera. La primera persona que le dije que viniera. Teníamos una semana para pensárnoslo y bueno, pues yo sabía que me iba a decir que sí, pero estaba así con el cachondeo que le caracteriza. Y bueno, se lo digo, me dice, oye, se lo decimos a tu hermano, digo, yo encantado. Y bueno, con ello pues al fin del mundo, aquí estamos.
So I prepared myself mentally to do more so that when I come here, I can focus on the distance, but the weather. And the weather, everyone told me, 4 seasons in one day. So I'm just gonna go, bring plan A, plan B, plan C, and enjoy, because honestly, I'm more here to enjoy the place, because Patagonia, for me, was a dream.
Yo fui en lugares donde quería abandonar 3 veces. Yo vomité durante la bici, yo tenía dolor, yo tenía heridos.
Doubts can always arise, but once you have found a passion and a sport like triathlon, I think you can overcome so much, and you have the power to control those doubts and any childhood fears that you had. And I think that's why sport in particular is such a powerful activity for anybody.
I have a big challenge coming up this weekend, so I don't want to shoot myself in the foot and end up with a DNF. But I don't know. I think that if you can, and there's no major injury holding you back, then why not push through the finish line? I haven't had a race yet that has put me in that place. The obstacle is the way, and I really believe that you don't race with plan A, and sometimes you don't race with plan B, and you have to kind of take whatever the race gives to you and deal with it. And I think that's a skill that some people are missing.
The route is so long that you don't see many other athletes, and it can get quite lonely, and it's difficult to stay focused on racing a race when you can't see anyone around you. And it becomes a bit of a battle against the elements, you know? It's you versus the wind, versus the cold, versus the heat, because even on some of the ascents on the climbs, it was quite warm. So I found that it was difficult to stay competitive with the race, and I actually was just fighting the weather and fighting Patagonia, but at the same time you're embracing Patagonia, and the views make the suffering worthwhile.
J'avais très peur de ne pas finir. J'avais très peur de... Je voulais sonner la cloche. Je voulais sonner cette cloche-là, en fait.
El sacrificio que requiere esta carrera, el sufrimiento, que al final es un sufrimiento que vamos a tener todo, pero me gusta, los desafíos, el venirte aquí a la otra punta del mundo y bueno, de llevarte una experiencia y un desafío a la mochila increíble.
For me, the best way to get through suffering is to think about something else. You can't focus on the pain. You get yourself into a deeper and deeper hole, and that's not where you want to go. You need to turn things around. So you need to really take control of your mental space, and you need to focus on factors outside yourself.
Yeah, most races that I do, I have blinders on and I don't pay attention to spectators or the scenery, but this race I purposely wanted to have eyes wide open and take in the scenery. And a lot of times we'd come around a corner and we'd just have this amazing view of the white-capped mountains, and I would look around, and even on the aero bike, I'm trying to stay here, and then something would catch my eye and I would turn my head, which is something you shouldn't really do on a time trial bike.
Honestly, in all the crazy things that I did in my life, this is the most difficult, but also the most challenging, because you are living in hell, in paradise. This, for me, is one of the best. Why? Because it's pure, it's wild. I mean, you feel connected to nature. Wow, what a hospitality. I thought that Morocco was the #1 in hospitality, but I found that now something as good. So this helps you when you are down mentally. So yeah, I would like to thank everyone who helped us along the way.
I came here by myself, and so I had a local support. So Alejandro was amazing. There was another guy who I didn't even know, and he just started running, and his name was Christian, and he was from Port Asen, and he was a marathon runner, and he just started running with me, and he said, "Is it okay if I carry your bottle?" I said, "Sure." And he was great, and it was good moral support, because I was feeling a pretty low at that point. I was struggling a bit, and so it was good encouragement.
Y le di las gracias a la Patagonia por su entorno, por la gente que te animaba en todos los poblados, en todo, por la calle, la llegada a meta, en todo.
It really felt like people were very supportive of the race locally, and so it was fun to meet people near the swim start, along the bike route, and at the transition, and then at the run finish. We had a celebration, and it was great to see the community out. I think that it's a shared experience. I think that people are coming together from all over the world that have a lot of differences, but with the race, they share a lot of similarities with, seeking to find out something about themselves and experience a big challenge.
Je suis très fier d'avoir réussi cette course. Je m'attendais à vivre quelque chose de fabuleux, mais là, je crois que ça dépasse de fabuleux.
It's long, it's hard, and the scenery is amazing. So it's definitely one of my favorite races that I've ever done.
Even if I need to crawl, I will finish. Even if I'm eliminated, yeah, I will finish, because I'm here to finish. My only goal is being the best.
I think it's a very epic adventure, and it's just to complete the race is an accomplishment. Or even to start this race, I think.
Exceeded my expectations for sure. It was everything I expected from the challenge, the weather. The scenery was just beautiful. It was spectacular on the bike and the run, especially the run. The mountains, the lakes, the altitude, the snow, the peaks. It was really, really beautiful.
Esto, la verdad que puedo decir que ha sido la mejor experiencia que he pasado en mi vida, no solo deportivo, sino en toda mi vida. Ha sido la experiencia más bonita, más real y única e inolvidable que he pasado en mi vida. Y los 2 últimos kilómetros, ves esa recta gigante, yo diciéndole a mi hermano, ya esto es aquí, ya estamos aquí. Y la verdad que de repente vi a mi padre, digo, ahí está papá. Estaba con 3 banderas que había comprado, la de Sevilla, de Andalucía y España, y chillando, vamos gón. Y la verdad que ese momento de abrazarnos los 3, llega a meta, ve la campana que la has visto tantas veces y yo no sabía ni qué decir, grité un vamos ahí que se escuchó en todo Chile.
I'm proud of myself for getting here. It was a long way to come, for taking a chance to do the event in the first place, even though I maybe wasn't 100% prepared, and for finishing strong and well.
Grâce à vous, j'ai pu faire ça. Et je suis fier de faire pour moi, pour vous, pour Basile, qui était présent hier. Incroyable. Avec Patagonman. Yes! Je le suis!
Because life is about experiences. La sorpresa, el regalo después de terminar algo como el Patagonman, una carrera donde vas a sufrir mucho, no se mesura en el dinero, porque a veces hay gente que me dice, vas a ir, pagar dinero, viajar, sufrir y al final no ganas nada, como no dinero. Todo no es dinero. Para mí, el regalo de terminar y sentirte como cumpliste algo muy importante en tu vida es más importante que el dinero.
I don't know. I think that the easy way is just too easy, and I think that we need to push ourselves and find things that take us out of our comfort zone. Even more than that is I'm worried about being too comfortable.
Je sais que mon père, de là-haut, il veille chez moi. Je le sais.
También que la pasión es que da la motivación y la motivación no es suficiente para terminar, es la determinación que va a ayudarte para terminar, porque el físico creo que es importante, pero el mental, cuando tú dices y cambia como el mental y dices que no, y vas de no puedo a puedo, todo es posible después.